Hi, I'm Ken Kessler, and welcome to the Sounds of Christmas podcast. If you're new to this podcast, I want to start by saying thanks for joining us. If you're not so new, welcome back. Either way, I'm glad you're here. Now, to avoid any confusion, I want to start off by saying there won't be any music played here. This is a place for conversation. I'll talk about Christmas music and some related topics, sometimes by myself and sometimes with guests. If you're looking for music, just go to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. We play the best variety of Christmas music all year long. Well, except in October, when we play the best variety of Halloween music. In addition to the Sounds of Christmas, for the last 6 years, I have been running another online station. It's for a senior living community, actually a company that owns and operates about 50 senior communities across the country. It's a private station just for residents of these communities, which is why I haven't talked about or promoted it here or on social media. Anyway, they have decided they want to do something different for their residents, and they will no longer be using this station. Over the course of the next month, I need to decide what I'm going to do with it, though, as you have probably guessed, I already have an idea. By the way, since this station is still operational for this group of senior living communities, I'm only going to refer to it as this station. My original idea for this station was to play music the residents of senior communities liked but couldn't find elsewhere. It wasn't exactly a standard station, but it was certainly standards heavy. I programmed it to play the most popular songs of the 1940s and 1950s with a little leeway on either end of those decades. I found that I really enjoyed listening to it. I love so many of those songs and even more of the voices. Frank Sinatra, Nat King Cole, Bing Crosby, many of the same voices you hear on the Sounds of Christmas station. And I love so many of those songs. Skylark, Always, Unforgettable, so many more. That love for the music that most don't get to hear anymore, is what led me to create the Sounds of Christmas station in the first place. And now, maybe it's time to do something similar with standards. I wasn't so sure this was a great idea. I figured there were probably lots of other stations out there already doing the same thing. Surprisingly, there really aren't. I found less than 100 traditional radio stations across the United States that specialize in, or at least feature, this kind of music, and far fewer online. So it certainly seems like there's room for me to do this. Then I started to think about what I would play. Much of it seems obvious. The names I've already mentioned, of course, plus Dean Martin, Rosemary Clooney, Kate Smith, on and on and on. And there have been plenty of current artists who sing those wonderful songs that we all know, like Michael Bublé and Josh Groban. Rod Stewart did a whole bunch of albums covering the Great American Songbook not that long ago. And there are plenty more in between. I think what I'm going for is something along the lines of a station that plays the greatest songs of all time, performed by the greatest voices of all time. I had actually thought about calling this podcast episode Saving the Standards, but I didn't for a couple reasons. First, that makes it sound like I'm running some kind of charity thing, and I'm not. And second, I think there are plenty of artists today that are doing their best to keep those classic songs alive. I'd just like to shine a light on them. I guess that kind of leads to the conversation about what a standard is. The Oxford Dictionary defines a standard, as it refers to music, simply as, quote, a tune or song of established popularity, end quote. Merriam-Webster says a standard is, quote, a musical composition, such as a song, that has become a part of the standard repertoire. I don't think either of those definitions help a lot. Standards, as far as I'm concerned, are songs that are so popular and so well loved that many singers perform and record them. They're songs that have not only stood the test of time, but have been recognized by other artists as something special, something they feel the need to perform, usually close to the way the original was performed. For the purposes of this station, I will do my best to bring that to you. If all goes well, the standard station, which is what I'm leaning toward calling it, will debut in early July. I've just added a page to the Sounds of Christmas website with all the details about what I'm trying to do, and I'll update it as soon as I can with details on how, where, and when you can listen. If you like this, I could certainly use some help getting it up and running. To that end, I've added a donation button to the standards page on the Sounds of Christmas website. I don't know exactly what it will cost to get this switched and retooled, but any assistance is certainly appreciated. Eventually, the standard station will carry limited advertising, as does the Sounds of Christmas, but my goal for now is to simply get it up and running and keep it up and running through the end of the year. Once the new season of the Sounds of Christmas wraps up in early January, I'll be able to really get to work on it. By the way, if you're an artist who feels the way I do about this kind of music, and have even recorded some and would like information about promoting yourself and your work on the Standard station, just fill out the contact form on the Standards page on the Sounds of Christmas website. I feel a little like the station is a rescue and I'm rehoming it. And I'm grateful to anybody who feels the way I do about music, especially about those wonderful songs and artists, and is able to help me make the Standard station happen. Thanks so much for listening and for your patience as we kick off the second season of the Sounds of Christmas podcast without actually talking about Christmas or Christmas music at all. If you'd like to listen to some Christmas music, just go to soundsofchristmas.com and click on the tree or the player on the front page or on the Listen Now page. For information on the Standard station, just go to that same website and click on Standards. If you have comments or suggestions, feel free to reach out to me on social media or through the website. Thanks again, and may you always believe in Santa Claus.